Hello and welcome to the Starfall Collective Season 2, King of the Cloudy Sea, a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition adventure. I'm Matthew Talamini, your Dungeon Master. I'm a writer and web developer based in Providence, Rhode Island, and you can find my stuff at MatthewTalamini.com. That's Matthew, Talamini.com. With me are a few of my college buddies, Sir Robert Burbridge playing Weatherin, an elven paladin of Oberon. Say hi so people know who you are and tell them where they can find your stuff.
Hi, I'm Sir Robert Burbridge, and I am your dungeon subject, and you can find my stuff. Wait a minute, I think there's a really bad echo.
I don't hear it.
Dwight Knall playing Trilo, some kind of mixed up creature. Say hi so people know who you are and tell them where they can find your stuff.
Hi, you can find my stuff in my house.
Joshua Sewage playing Malmer, an elven cleric of Chernobog. Say hi so people know who you are and tell them where they can find your stuff.
Hi, I'm Josh. You can find my stuff all over the internet with J Suich, J-S-U-I-C-H. That'll find my profile on Reddit and Facebook and Instagram. And if you go to Reddit and comment on the Starfall Collective subreddit, you can interact with me about fan theories.
Our mighty hunters have finally found the great beast that they sought. Enma himself, the Kraken, the king of the cloudy sea, and engaged it in battle. The combat so far has been fierce. The Kraken's massive tentacles turned several boats to splinters, leaving sailors clinging more or less precariously to the branches of the trees of the cloudy sea. For a time, the fight was almost one-on-one as Malmer stood against the silver squid, firing blast upon blast of eldritch, necrotic energy at it, but taking in his turn many brutal blows. Reduced almost to death, Malmer now lies clinging to the cloudy sea's canopy of broad leaves, dripping blood. Goryo, who arrived late to the battle due to a critically failed athletics check, rushed in, a vision of fury, and for a short time traded blows with the beast. However, without Malmer's warlock hex to weaken it, the two strong tentacles first grabbed Goryo, then dragged him to the beast's gaping maw, which swallowed him. The Great Kraken, sensing that its most powerful foes were neutralized, but still tangled up and bound to the trees around it, began trying to free itself from the tangle harpoons in a way that is seldom seen. It is attacking the trees themselves, since the Kraken, and every other living thing in the cloudy sea, depends on the trees to keep from falling into infinite nothingness. This is a dangerous tactic, to say the least. If it keeps on striking the trees as it has been, the damage that it does to your surroundings could create a very dangerous situation for every creature nearby. Trilo.
Hi.
You were thrown from Sarah's boat when the Kraken broke the boat in half.
Oh.
And happened to get caught in the levitation field generated by the levy lump that your crew took from the Temple of Chernobog.
Aha!
Since then, you've been floating a few feet above the canopy with nothing to grab onto, and hence no way to move.
I'm stuck.
Just now, there's a shudder and the trees shift and a branch juts up that you can grab onto, giving you the ability to move around once more. Go ahead and roll initiative for me so I can put you back in the battle.
I got a 9.
A 9. That spot on my sheet is really crowded.
Yeah, I can re-roll if you want.
No. Try low. There you go. Good. So that's the scene. The Kraken, as is usual, sits in the center of a kind of depression that is made when they stir around, pushing the trees about. 3 of its arms are bound to the trees around it so that it can move very little. The tentacles, however, are longer and stronger than the arms, and those and the other arms, being free, have been striking out at people. It fired its poison gas blast once, but that has dissipated. And that's where we are. A good number of the sailors are pretty much out of the battle, sort of struggling to climb their way back up to the surface and figure out what's going on. Right now, it is Sarah's turn. She's standing with you near the wreckage of your boat. There are splinters of wood lying on the surface of the canopy, the broad leaves that form the topmost layer of the cloudy sea, where you and her are together, whether in sort of crouched or spread out on the leaves so that you don't fall through. She looks to you, and this is a character who knows how to be sarcastic, a character who's seen a lot out on the cloudy sea, a character who you've seen before is very brave, a hard taskmaster. But she looks back at you, Weatherin, with something like genuine fear. This is the first time that you've seen fear in the eyes of any of the three mates. And she says to you, Weatherin, it's not looking good. If Barkus doesn't reappear, then I'm in charge, and I don't see him. Should I sound a retreat? Buddy, how about we survive this first, and then where you're going next? Okay, let's withdraw a ways. And she starts sort of crawling over the surface, away from the Kraken, and gestures to a few of the sailors who are nearby. And she calls out. She says, "Find Barkus. Where is he? If we can't find Barkus, retreat. Get back. It's too dangerous. Goryo is gone. We can't live." Other encouragement for the sailors to save themselves, to get out of the way of the Kraken if they can. Kyoko, whose boat is also broken, takes this cue and also begins to gather up her sailors and to tie things down and start making her way away from the Kraken at all speed. I'll roll a little bit for that. But her ship is struggling. Her boat is sort of struggling a little bit, and they don't really move very far. They're working on just keeping people from falling through, just making harnesses, making sure that everybody is just even safe in the next 10 seconds. On the cloudy sea, it's all branches all the way down. In this place, it's 30 or 40 feet of interleaved branches, and under that, nothing. So it's imperative to make sure that everybody is at least safe before you try to move anywhere. You know what? Yeah. There's a sort of a muffled movement from inside of the Kraken. And I have to bring up a thing. Oh no, I remember what it is.
Let me consult the Book of Squidly Armaments.
Trilo.
Yeah.
Turn.
So how far am I from that levee?
It's nearby. 2 feet.
Is it just
Its
floating
field
away, or?
its field is like 5 feet. So you're still in the field, but you've been able to grab onto a branch. So you're like floating. But
Can I grab it and the branch?
yeah, it's connected to like a long stick. So once you've got the branch, you can like get to where it's stuck and like grab it and get it.
And then how many people are near me, specifically within 30 feet of me?
Oh, within 30 feet of you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Kraken, for one. And
don't want Kraken.
2 Weatherin and Sarah and 2 other sailors are within 30 feet of you, and probably like 2 other miscellaneous sailors.
Okay. Well, I will bless Weatherin, Sarah, and myself. So now you can add a D4 to attacks and saving throws. I'll be like, looks like you could use a little, I don't know, Oberon?
Who's my god now?
I can't remember.
So Robert, I DM'd you, by the way, on Jitsi. Yeah.
And then I move to grab the stick and move my 35 feet away from this in the, minus whatever ratio of not being able to just walk.
Right. Yeah, so make me the standard acrobatics check.
Acrobatics. Woohoo! 17.
Yep, you do just fine. You can move like 15 feet. And you're moving in the same sort of direction as Weatherin and Sarah are going?
Hey, I got some levy here, guys. Might be helpful.
No. I'm the one who took it from that temple.
But I have it, so
Thank you.
I'm not saying that you don't have it. I'm just saying that I brought it.
Good job. It's worth a frickin' fortune.
Well, we're almost dead. Not worth anything if we're dead. Blessings of Oberon upon you.
I love this character. Weatherin, your turn.
Can you? Well, sorry. First of all, quick note: I had to turn my audio funny, so I hear an echo, but you don't. Just so you know, if I get distracted by the sound, that's what that is. Okay. So can you tell me what is around me?
Yeah, you are currently. Sarah has gone on sort of ahead of you, away from the Kraken, as you agreed, and she's kind of leading the retreat right now.
Okay. And how far away is she from me?
She's about 15 feet away from you.
Okay. I would like to move as expeditiously as possible away from the main group. And can I see the main ship?
No.
Okay. We are all the boats destroyed, or at least all that I saw?
There is still one.
Okay.
Barkas's boat. Actually, Barkas's boat is broken. No, Barkas's boat is still there, and Goryo's boat is still there.
How far are either of them from me and the Kraken?
They're both. You would have to go around the circle or through sort of kind of past the Kraken to get to either of them.
Okay.
The boats try to surround the Kraken, so they're sort of on another side of the circle from you.
Okay. I want to go kind of past Sarah, or as fast as I can in the same direction. My basic intent is going to be to sort of circumnavigate this sort of danger region to try to get towards the boats. At the same time, I want to blow my. I think this is not an action. You tell me. I have a horn of silent alarm, and I want to blow that. It's only heard by the one creature of my choice, as long as they're within 600 feet, and they don't have deafness.
Does it say as an action?
It says. Oh, I see. Yeah. When you use an action to blow it. Okay. Yep. So, great. Does movement count as my main action? Okay. So I'll do the movement.
Get a move, an action, a.
Great. Bonus action.
A bonus action. And a
reaction.
And that is what you get to do on your turn.
Cool. I will do my movement as far as you tell me how far I'm able to go. And then I want to blow the horn for Clerk to hear. To try to get him to fly this way.
He's sort of circling above.
Yeah, I'm basically trying to conference with him because I know he wants to go to Air Mountain too.
Sure.
No time like the present to pull a coup.
What's your you can move half of your movement speed through this difficult terrain, and also you have to give me a acrobatics check.
Okay. My walking speed is 30.
So 15 feet.
16.
You're good. You keep pace with Sarah.
Okay.
And so you blow this horn, and Kalerk can hear it.
If he's within 600 feet, not deaf.
Yeah, he is.
And presumably he can hear it like he knows which direction it is.
Yeah. So he stops in his flight up above, and you can see him start heading down towards you.
Great.
Malmer.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Mal is going to continue to harry Enma, and to that end, he will cast Eldritch Blast. That's a 20 and a 24 to hit him.
So right now, you've gone sort of away from the edge of the circle, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're like 30 feet from the edge of the circle that Enma's in the center of.
Right. So I'm about 90 feet from him.
Yeah, right now you can definitely hit it. You're within range, but there are trees in the way because he's down below the level of the trees. So you can make this shot, but roll with disadvantage because you'll have to find like a gap in the trees to shoot through.
Nuts. Then one of them is going to miss and one of them is still going to hit. So that's 15 points of damage.
Wow. Very good.
And he's going to move as long as he's got... how close would he have to be in order to not have disadvantage? Would he have to be in range of the tentacles?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then he's going to move 30 feet farther back just to give a little bit of extra buffer. So he's going to be about 120 feet away.
Okay. Roll me that athletics check.
All right. That is an 11.
You are attempting to move backward, but I think you must have lost a little blood. Maybe you're a little dizzy from the huge wounds that you have. You're in terrible shape. Your foot slips on one of the branches, and you start to fall.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to be particularly merciful to you. So you start to fall. You can make me another athletics check to try
acrobatics.
Acrobatics check to try and grab one of the branches and stop yourself from falling too far. You do.
What's the first one supposed to be? Was the first one supposed to be acrobatics?
Yeah.
Okay, in that case, it's a 12. Is a 12 good enough?
12 is good.
Okay,
Your
all
foot-
right. It should have been 12 then.
Your foot slips and you just barely catch yourself.
Okay, all right.
Like this is serious. The rule is I roll a d6 and that times 10 is how many feet you
Sure.
fall before you hit a branch and take damage.
Sure.
They're not here. They're not here. Let us see how Barkus does. Yeah. So Barkus suddenly like emerges up through the canopy and starts looking around.
Hi, Marcus.
He's probably like, 70 feet away from most of you. He's pretty far away
Hi, Marcus.
with his boat, and you start yelling at him. And you can see him begin to like gather the sailors from his boat together, and he's like clambers back up over the side of his boat and starts talking. Gratu is there, and this fearsome orcish warrior lady is speaking to Barkus in a way that's very passionate, and then she gets her turn, and what you see is she actually leaves the boat and starts making her way down towards the Kraken. But as she does that, she slips, and just the trees are moving all around, and getting down off the boat, she misses her step, and she falls partway into the cloudy sea. Ouch. And okay, there's a thump, and Barkus like puts his hands on his head like, oh, why is she like this? And gestures to a sailor to like, lower down on a rope to go and get her. She's gonna lose some hit points there. Is everything okay with our stream? What's going on? Oh. Thanks, guys. Cool. Well, you're doing great. Keep up the good work. I love it.
Staying alive, barely. Staying alive, staying alive.
The great Kraken, the king of the cloudy sea, struggles mightily. To look at this. Here we go. No. 14 plus 8 is 24. The Kraken's arms that are bound to the trees like struggle and twitch and flex, but they are not strong enough to free themselves from the tangled up masses of ropes that bind them to the trees. The other arms start to flail around, and the tentacles too. One, two. Okay. This is going to be
Dwight, are you in the quietest rave in the world? Looks pretty cool. Sorry.
And then, so what you see is the 5 arms and one of the tentacles just flap around wildly and start hitting at the trees that that it's bound to, hoping to splinter the trees to free itself. You can feel the vibration of these strikes going through the forest as the trees are all sort of woven together, pretty loosely, but pretty firmly, so that it's kind of an earthquake for you. Nobody has to make any checks right now to keep their feet. It's not more than the normal sort of shaking, but you can definitely feel that the forest around you is losing some of its structural stability. And then one of the tentacles is going to do something. Let's just see what. It's going to lash out towards Barkus's boat.
Oh, man.
And that is definitely going to hit.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so it strikes the boat, and it breaks like a whole bunch of one side of the boat is just sheared off by the strength of this tentacle, so that it's almost 3/4 of the port side of or the starboard side of the boat is like, no, the port side is what I'm imagining. Whatever. 3/4 of one side of the boat is just like a cross section of the boat. One of the sailors falls, but is able to catch himself in time. Doesn't fall into the cloudy sea. And then, can a boat do a strength check? I don't think a boat can do a strength check. So the Kraken actually wraps its tentacle around the boat and grabs it, immobilizing it.
Half of it.
Yeah, what's left of it?
The other part fall through the...
You have that one.
Sarah's turn again. She yells again, "Everybody, get out of the way. Flee the Kraken. Regroup out of range." Giving instructions to the sailors to try and get out of range of the tentacles and the arms, and then sort of regroup with each other.
And you said that it would take an action to assess Enma's health level?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're going to stop and like really look and examine something, it takes an action. Kyoko is basically doing the same thing as Sarah is, assisting her sailors. Still, it is not going super well for them. Not, you can see them; they're sort of struggling. It doesn't seem as though anybody is suffering too bad over there, but it's a comedy of errors. But Kalerk, who's part of her boat, instead of going down to help her or attacking the Kraken or whatever, comes over to you, Weatherin, and he alights next to you. And if you're going to have much of a conversation with him, it's going to, have to happen in little spurts or whatever. But he says, because there are still combat-related things that we're not out of combat yet, but he alights near you, says, "Yes, Weatherin?" You can respond now. That's fine. I'm kind of busy right now, and I'll have to think about it. I'm gonna go try and save some of my friends, but thanks for thinking of me. And he turns to go, but not yet because he spent his movement to get to you. Do do do. Ho ho! Somebody.
Oh, I can't wait to see how this turns out.
So what you see is the other sailors on Goryo's boat are these dark elves. They're very wrapped up. They're in these big cloaks with the big hoods because dark elves and sunlight. They're out in the open, and it's but one of them sort of rises up and gestures. Let's see. I think that probably, yeah. None of you are close enough to see particularly which one it is that does this, but it is not super hard to guess, and it sort of flies up into the air a little bit. And
what is it?
One of the becloaked
Gotcha.
drow figures.
Old chumpkins. That's what I always call them.
We're going to see how Enma's dex save goes, and that's pretty good. So this drow raises its arm and starts chanting in like a pig Latin, dark pig Latin. Envision an evil pig Latin in which one could chant mystic runes of death, and a lightning bolt just crackles down, ka-chunk, from the sky, and it hits the Kraken at one point. It doesn't hit it dead center, but it does strike it, doing some damage to Enma. Wow, that was a good roll.
Yay!
And then some very small fires start among the trees that are near Enma there. And I'm going to say that a certain somebody who happens to be inside of Enma catches a little bit of lightning damage from this spell as well.
Somebody's not dead.
And then you hear some yelling in Dark Elvish coming from over there. You can't tell what it says. They're yelling in Undercommon or something. Actually, one of you speaks Undercommon.
What is it?
Right? So you hear some drow yelling in Undercommon. The captain's in there. Don't hit it with lightning bolts. What are you doing? He's in there.
Just so everyone knows, Trilo speaks Loxodon. So if we come across any sentient elephants, I got that locked down.
I would have written some sentient elephants into the adventure if only I had known.
If only you could do whatever you wanted to do at any time.
I'll add them to the random encounter table. How's that?
That sounds like a deal.
Whoa.
Cool. Weatherin, it is your turn. I can hear you.
I can, but I'm not on the stream.
It takes about 10 seconds.
All right, I will unmute myself. I'm not sure how much they missed. Okay. My turn.
Matt's just got to give a good recap of whatever you say.
Yeah.
I'm just
Well,
going to
now it'll come through.
Oh, okay.
Just have the echo, and hopefully the stream doesn't.
Okay.
Sorry for the
I don't hear it in the stream.
inside baseball here. Okay. I am going to continue in the direction that I was going. And how far are the drow from us? From me personally.
The drow are, I'm going to say, like 70 feet away from you. You've gone away from the circle, and they're still sort of at the edge of the circle. So you'd have to go back towards it to get to them.
Okay. Boy, that is tempting. I want to shoot them. I'm going to...
Oh, something happens, Weatherin, actually.
Okay.
This happens to you. I think now is probably about the right time for this to happen. You feel a familiar soul tingle.
Okay.
Make me a religion check.
What'd you say, Matt?
Make me a religion check.
Okay. Sorry, I have to look it up. There it is. 17.
With a 17, you get the sense that Oberonian forces are active nearby, but
Hey, Oberon.
It's very dim and far away. Oh, are you a cleric of Oberon? Do you follow Oberon?
No. He follows a lot of things.
Okay, if you were especially dedicated to Oberon, you could be involved a little bit in this, but Trilo does not hear this. He is not as obsessed the way Weatherin is. You get the sense it is as though something has opened up a spiritual space, and a spiritual question that begs for an answer in the sort of Oberon sphere of the spirit, if that makes any sense.
Sure, sort of.
An Oberonian at this point could broadcast on this frequency and be received, but all you can catch of the question, of the content of the question, or the form that it's seeking, you can't figure out what exactly it's asking. But you get a sense that something of Oberon is asking a question so forcefully that even though Oberon is very weak out here, that question comes near enough to you to open itself to you. And you have the opportunity to say yes or no. You can respond to this. You can say, "Hey, I'm an Oberonian. Yes, yeah, go for it." Or no, don't.
Okay. With Oberon, all things are yes. So, to the best of my ability, as I have a habit of doing, I clutch my prayer book that's on a chain, and something like pray aloud, yes, your will be done type of thing. An affirmation of Oberon's plans and designs.
Okay. Your sense is that the only thing that is going to carry over this attenuated, thin channel is the general sense of affirmation.
Yeah.
You don't get to say, like, Oberon's will be done.
I know, but I'm telling you what's happening in me.
Right. Sure. Cool. Just making sure. Great. Now go ahead and take the rest of your turn.
Okay, so I'm just going to continue moving. And actually, I guess I should say the direction I want to move is further either towards the ship or Air Mountain.
The ship.
How far?
The ship is to the east.
The ship is east.
Yeah, you're kind of on
Air Mountain is south.
Time, you're
Air
gonna
Mountain
go
is
1,000 miles.
not walking distance.
Hey, Watherin is resigned to die on the journey. That's
Okay.
fine.
But
they're not in a line with each other.
Air Mountain is like a week or more journey by fast ship south.
Okay.
And the Fujin, you have no idea. You left the Fujin this morning. You haven't seen it since. You
Right.
saw some kite beacons coming off from somewhere, but they may not have been from the Fujin. They may have been from Goryo's boat.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know where it is, but it is the place where it should be. Although the place where good practice would have it be is like an hour's rowing to the east of where you are, at the where it would not be in the Ragged Edge itself.
Mm-hmm.
But you did see Goryo launch a flag or launch a kite that signaled to it to come over here. I mean, you don't know. He may have changed. He may have set up a system with them before, but usually that kind of distress kite would mean, hey, get the ship over here. We need help.
Yeah, great. I'm not in a huge hurry to get to the ship. It's Goryo's ship, and the Drow are happy and welcome there. So, but where is Chernobog's temple?
West.
And
the
Enma.
If you're going to, Enma is like 60 feet or 75 feet, mostly east. I'm sorry, mostly west, slightly north of you. The temple is maybe 10 minutes rowing to your west.
Right. Okay, I'll go kind of southeast.
It's just barely within sight. In fact, one of the things that you all saw or was narrated last episode is that you can see the very tip of it
tilting
a little bit. Yeah.
For what it's worth, it's 100,000 combat rounds to get to Air Mount, plus a little bit.
That
sounds good.
Good D&D math.
I'll roll initiative. I'm gonna go southeast, which still takes me towards both the boat and Air Mountain.
You mean the ship?
The ship.
You could also go towards a boat, which is Barkis's boat is available, sort of to the north of the circle.
Half of Barkis's boat.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, never mind. Barkis's boat isn't really available since the tentacle has it.
Is Watherin moving in my rough direction at all? We haven't really talked about where we are, but I know he and I started next to each other roughly, and then I've just backed up 30 feet.
Right.
After the break or during the break, I'll put up a map so that we can kind of roughly track that.
Because one of the things that you're seeing is that Mal is coughing up blood and stumbling and almost falling through the canopy.
Well, you saw what I was imagining you had done, Malmer, is you sort of backed up desperately during this ink smoke situation where you fell through the trees and then climbed back up and then just backed away, from it. So I had you going a little bit to the north, so that you're not quite on the same line away from the circle as they are.
Okay.
So I would say you're maybe like 40 feet away from them.
Okay. Fair enough.
It's just what I'm imagining. You've kind of gotten separated from the rest of the boat.
So it is.
Okay, well, for my turn, I'll continue walking that way, and crud, man. Yeah, I'll shoot at one of the drow.
Yes. Yes.
Somebody's gotta.
One of them is flying, and you can see that one well. The other ones are on their boat, which is a little bit obscured by the trees from here. It's like, it's not going to be. You know what? I won't give you disadvantage on that because they're in their boat. Their heads are poked up above the surface. They don't have cover from the trees.
Okay.
You could shoot one of the sailors, or you could shoot at the flying one.
Yeah, man. Let's do the flying one.
Mm.
If I miss it, hopefully he doesn't notice. And if I hit, hopefully he doesn't notice. I'm going to do... This is my crossbow that I have. Brutal. Okay, I got a 9.
The arrow whizzes past.
Great.
Sarah notices.
Sweet.
Good for her.
Don't forget your D4.
Right, you could roll a d4 and add that.
Aha. I did not... Sure.
You're blessed.
I said 9. Make it a 10.
Even an Oberonian bless.
Did that make all the difference?
No, it did not. Where are we? Sorry, it's Weatherin and Malmer. Your turn.
Okay, Mal looks around for the closest boat.
The closest boat is going to be... sorry, that one's broken. The only boat that is still intact is Goryo's, the one with the dark elves.
Okay. Mal is going to die.
It was the latest one to get here.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been hit by any tentacles yet or arms.
All right. Mal is going to make it over to the boat and climb on.
Okay. Roll me that acrobatics check. I think it will take your movement twice to get there.
Okay.
You won't be able to get there this turn.
Okay. That's a 20.
You're good.
All right. Mal climbs on board.
Well, you're not there yet. You're partway there.
Oh. Can I use my standard action to also move?
I mean, I was presuming that you're dashing, and then dashing is using your action to take another move action, but you're in difficult terrain, so you get your move action, basically your move distance, times 2 divided by 2.
Okay, so I'm only able to cover 30 feet.
Yeah.
Because it's 40 feet away. Gotcha. Mal calls out, like, he's like, throw me a rope, I'm going down. You know, he's basically afraid that if he missteps and he falls, he's dead.
One of the sailors turns to you and sees your desperate condition and does indeed throw you a rope.
Okay.
Which you can catch. Go ahead and catch it. You hereby catch it.
Grabs it and uses his standard action to get himself good and lashed.
Wow.
So that
a bonus action.
Sure. Oh, yeah, uses his bonus action to try to like really get the rope firmly. So,
cool.
All right.
Top of the round. Barkus again. Barkus has been thrown off of his boat for the second time, and he starts yelling the retreat as well. So saying, "We've got to get out of here. Sailors, to me, go to the mates." He issues a command to find the nearest ship's mate and get with them, regroup there, away from the tentacles. Endless turn. Oh, right, Gratu. We have to see what happens with Gratu. Oh, boy. Okay. Enma's turn.
I don't think I got to move between the last 2 times Enma moved.
Oh, you know what? Sorry. You should have gone before Weatherin.
Maybe I can just move twice this turn.
No, you go ahead and take your turn now. Sorry.
So who's near me?
You are near to Weatherin and Sarah.
Sarah and some randos.
And they're currently in the process of retreating. You have not seen it yet because, unfortunately, I skipped your turn. Your turn is happening technically before this, but Weatherin is about to shoot at one of the drow, your shipmates, who cast a lightning bolt at Enma.
And I will help that in the future, but I will move back.
You'll stay with Sarah?
Yeah.
Okay. Roll me that good old acrobatics check.
Beautiful acrobatics footage. I got a 12 plus a 3 plus a D4, which gives...
You're good. Don't worry about it.
I want to roll it!
You may roll it.
17.
Good. Are you going to do anything else?
Nah.
Okay.
Does somebody have a dog in their room? Oh, is that Poppy?
It's Poppy.
A Poppinator.
Once again, the 3 arms that are bound to the trees try their best to break free, but cannot. And
some good harpooning.
The 5 arms come up and do their crazy thing and whack, slap at the trees that are bound to the other arms in an attempt to splinter them.
Is pretty much everyone outside of the immediate range of the arms, at least right now?
No. A lot of the sailors in Barkas's boat and all of the dark elves and a lot of the sailors in Kyoko's boat are still in danger from the arms. If they
okay. So who's on the boat with me? Just like one sailor manning the boat?
No, you've been dragged on a boat with currently has 5 dark elves on it. Actually, 4 dark elves.
I thought you said all the dark elves were in danger from Enma.
Yeah, they're within range of the arms. You've gone back towards the circle.
And that's the only boat?
That's the only one that's still left, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
You shouldn't have gone there.
Okay.
I mean, you shouldn't have gone there, man.
I did not understand. Okay. Well, done is done. Okay. Keep going. Keep going.
Okay. Yeah, the last you saw of them, they were still trying to fight it with the lightning bolts and things.
Gotcha.
Not lightning bolts anymore.
Sorry, the 5 arms.
For what it's worth, Mal calls out for a health potion when he gets onto the boat. So we'll see if anybody does anything about that.
I don't think drow believe in health.
It's just kombucha that tastes like gym socks. That's all they have.
Mm-hmm. So kombucha.
Slug kombucha.
It's got live organisms.
Yeah. So these arms whip around and smash at the trees, and 2 of the trees that the arms were bound to just come apart, and the tangle harpoons can't bear their weight anymore and pull at the arms for a second as they fall, but do fall. Everybody, the entire system of trees that's around you takes a terrible shock as a big chunk of it is split in pieces and comes apart, and 2 whole trees fall dead out and down, having lost their levitation capacity in death, as these trees do. And
Oh no.
the whole area around you creaks and shifts down maybe like 5 feet. Just the structural integrity has been damaged and lowers, and it shakes. Everybody who is not in a boat, which is pretty much everybody, roll an acrobatics check. You don't have to, Malmer, you're in a boat.
Well, I'm next to a boat. I'm holding onto a rope.
Oh, you're holding onto a rope. Yeah, but you're holding onto a rope. Don't worry about it.
Oh, 22.
21.
15.
Don't forget to roll your d4.
Oh. 17.
Barkus. Okay. Barkus trips, and one of his sailors catches him and like holds him up. They're all they're very close to each other and making their way away from the Kraken. But you can see that Kyoko's boat is in real danger. Not the boat itself is splinters, but the sailors have been trying to keep themselves together, but they're just falling and they're holding on like barely by ropes, and Kyoko herself is starting to look desperate. Tentacles. What are the tentacles going to do? Oh, yes. The tentacles whip themselves up, and the baleful eye of the Kraken turns and focuses on this flying drow. You know well, Malmer, that when this malevolent eye turns its gaze upon some enemy, that it will not go well. And it is looking right at this flying drow.
And it's got a free tentacle with its name written on it.
Oh boy, that is a 20 for the first tentacle.
Woohoo!
Critical hit.
Oh.
And a miss for the second tentacle. But that critical hit is going to be brutal. What are the rules for critical hits? What is
you double the damage die. Or dice.
Oh, that poor drow mage is about to take 4.
That's amazing. Weathering. Nuts. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Gosh, that's the equivalent of being struck by a 1-foot diameter tree at about 30 miles an hour. That's
and then
awful.
What is this drow's strength save? Nothing special. -1.
His spine did not break. Now we must see if he survives the grapple.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Wait, hold on. 16 -1 is 15, and it has to
roll.
He has
4.
to save against a DC 18 strength check. So the tentacle smacks him and then wraps around him and starts and just drags him out of the air. Just so Weatherin, you take your shot at it. The arrow flies past, and like 5 seconds later, a tentacle just comes up out of the trees and just right out of the air, like a bullfrog's tongue with a fly.
From Oberon's crossbow to his head.
But two of the arms that were bound have freed themselves, and the main body of the Kraken is free to move around a little bit more, and it starts to do so. It is pulling itself west.
Is it attached by? Sorry, is it still entangled by anything?
It is still entangled by one of the tangle harpoons. It has, yeah. It freed itself from two of them.
Okay.
Yeah. So Sarah's going to continue what she's doing. Kyoko is going to continue what she's doing. Let's see. How does that go? Yeah, Kyoko and her team are sort of wrapped together like mountain climbers tied to each other, but they are slipping slowly down. If one of them does not make a good roll at some point, they might be in serious trouble, especially if the damage to the trees gets worse. Somebody takes some poison damage. And let's see. The drow who is grappled by the tentacle, any of you who are close enough to see can see that it poof vanishes into mist and reappears in the boat next to you, Malmer. Mist just reforms, and the
I'm not in the boat yet, but I'm nearby.
Oh, you're nearby. You can see it. You can see this happen.
Mm-hmm.
The drow is back on the boat, and you just make a roll for what's going on in this character's head. Yeah. The drow exhorts the other drow and says in Undercommon that the rest of you can hear, "You fools, shoot at it." And they get their arrows and they shoot at it. I guess. Okay. Oh, they don't do bad. I mean, they don't hurt it a whole lot either, but Trilo.
Uh-huh.
Your turn.
I'm looking at all my spells and equipment. How far am I from Inma?
You're like 30 plus 15 3 times, so like 75 feet.
75 feet. I guess. And that's outside the range of his ink attack, right? That's 60.
Yeah.
I guess I'll cast Magic Missile.
Roll them D4s.
How many of them do I have? First level, 3 darts. Do I roll 3 D4s? It's 1d4 plus 1.
Sounds good.
Do I roll it 3 times, or do I just roll it once and multiply it by 3?
Roll 3 times.
Okay, so where'd it go? There we go. 4, 4, and 1. So 5, 5, and 2.
Cool.
12. Your magic missiles connect solidly with the Kraken. Dunk, Thunk, thunk. They hit it. Doesn't seem to notice.
Good. Good.
Weathering, you're up.
All right. Has Sarah continued moving in the direction?
Yeah.
I'm doing the same.
Okay. Yeah.
Keep moving.
If you're going to continue doing that, you're far enough away from the scene of the action that you can stay with her. And we can drop you out of the battle order if you want.
Sure.
Just whatever you like.
I don't have any intention to throw my life away on Enma because so everybody can see the motivations and everything. I know from Oberon that he has no interest in Enma being killed. My vow, Weatherin thinks, is resolved, and notwithstanding the crazy drow who said something about, oh, he's still alive inside the Kraken, and so I'm happy to go try to help Sarah save anybody's life or things like that. But I feel like my time with this crew is reasonably at an end.
So by the Aristotelian argument, the words of a corrupt and insane man have no moral compulsion over the gold-souled philosopher that is Weatherin.
Maybe. More just that I promised... I forgot the captain's name.
Gorio.
I promised Gorio I would stay on the ship for the duration of the thing, but there's no Gorio to keep my promise to.
Sure.
So,
I mean, you are employed by the owners of the ship.
I am, and as I told Gorio at the time, I'm happy to forfeit all my salary. So,
cool.
Ain't no pay like freedom.
Malmer, are you going to do anything in particular? You're going to climb back on this boat, or what are you thinking? The boat really was the safest option for you, I think, because of the risk of falling.
Yeah.
This is the most likely place not to fall.
Yeah. Indeed. Is Barkus visible from anywhere on the battlefield?
Barkus is not currently visible to you. He's currently struggling up. Like he fell down again, and one of his sailors is currently helping him back up.
But he's not on the battlefield. No one can see him.
He's generally around, but he's slipping around. You heard him. Everybody heard him yell to his sailors just a couple seconds ago.
Okay. All right.
Since then, he's slipped and fallen, and they're helping him back up. So you cannot currently see him, but pretty much everybody knows where he is and what he's up to.
Alrighty. So some rando sailor tossed me a rope, right? But all the drow are paying attention.
No, it was a drow sailor.
Okay.
From the boat.
Okay. Mal is going to change his... First thing he's going to do is he's going to turn and look at Enma and take a good, long, hard scrutinize and look. And he's going to try to figure out, based on how many times I've watched people go sticky, stabby, blast, whatever, and how he's looking now, what do I think Enma is at in terms of gas in the tank, hit points in the reservoir?
This is a pretty unique animal. So go ahead and make me a nature check.
Alrighty. Boy, I wish that was for free. But that's a good time to roll a 17. That's 17 plus 2 is a 19.
Enma's huge, really, really big.
Colossal.
But it has been wounded. There are burn marks on it from different magical energies that have hit it. There are just a metric crapload of arrows sticking out of it.
Harpoons.
There are certain places where a ship has been firing at it continuously for almost a minute, There are places where there are dozens of arrows sticking out of it, but none of them go very deep. None of these wounds are very deep. So there are a lot of what would be deadly wounds for a smaller creature, but on Enma are just not that bad. And it looks like it still has a lot of its vigor left.
Like more than half.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you think that if you were to continue doing that kind of damage to it, it would take you at least as long or more time as you've already taken to finish it off.
Mal's gonna climb up and look the drow in the eye and say, "This is foolishness. Either get down there and cut him out, or let's get out. This fight will not end without Goryo, and we both know that."
The drow turns to you with fury in his eyes. You have had conflict with this drow before over a certain Oberonian charm that it couldn't stand, and it kind of hates you. He says, "Traitor, if you are a devotee of your God, as I think you are, you too will hunt with us. Are you a coward? Do you have no taste for blood?"
Mal spits out an enormous, he's got like a half a cup of blood and saliva and stuff. And he says, "You give me a health potion and I'll show you what I can do. But I'm on death's door, and a dead warrior is a useless one." And he hacks up another piece of lung. So he asks for a health potion.
Yeah. Well, let's see.
In the meantime, well, no, because I used my action this round to survey, so I can't fire off a.
I have an out of character question when you get a second, Matt.
Yeah.
What happened with the Clobberman? Clobberman?
That's an interesting question.
What is a Clobberman?
The Clobberman is apparently a servant of Oberon that Oberon promised would come to assist you, as well as that Oberon would help you by telling you a charm, which charm you successfully performed on the ship, which might have had something to do with why your path happened to cross that of the great beast which you sought.
But I'll never tell.
Or there may have been other factors involved in that.
Incomprehensible calculations according to tables of vast arcane probabilities and potencies.
The tables are vast. Hold on 1 second. One of the sailors rolls a 20 on her happening to have a health potion squirreled away. And she turns to you, Malmer, and says, "I've seen you fight. And as a fellow devotee of Karen, I will help you." And pulls out
nods his head.
A small clay corked vessel, which she hands to you.
You have no idea what's inside.
You have no idea what's inside, but go ahead and
drink
roll
it
up
anyway.
2d4 plus 2 health. and the harpooner, the mage, who's in charge of the boat, looks back at her and scowls.
Thank you.
Are you going to do anything else? I think. I guess
I've used up my turn. I think
that stuff is your action. Yeah, that stuff is definitely your turn, right? Okay, let's see about Barkus. Yeah, Barkus comes back up and he starts guiding some of his sailors away. And let's see what happens over there. What's going on? And what about them? Oh, okay. Right, great. Awesome. Enma's going to. So you see the 7 arms that are now free, all just start striking at trees, just battering ram force. Yeah. Oh yeah. Just for. And okay. Just rolling this just to. Okay. So the trees are splintering left and right. What was a fairly small hole, that's sort of big enough to hold a kraken, is growing wider and wider as it bashes a tree here and smashes a tree there, and there's branches and bark just flying. The canopy is being shredded all around, and that last arm that was attached to one of the trees comes free, and the kraken starts to head west. It turns away from the boat that it was still fighting with the dark elves, and just heads away from them. It just starts moving. But not before one tentacle swipes out at the head of your boat. It's not forgetting that lightning bolt and who cast that lightning bolt. And that's going to be a hit. And let's see how a drow mage does at a strength check. It's a bad. Okay. Get me 2d10. Ouch. Okay. So, oh boy. The tentacle grabs it again. This mage is no good at dodging. The tentacle sweeps up, and just 1 second, this drow is scowling at his rower for having handed you a health potion, and the next second, he's gone. Just taken by the tentacle.
Nice.
Be nicer, man.
Yeah.
That's Oberonian karma.
But there is yet one more trick up Captain Gorio's team's sleeve.
Gorio.
We are talking about Captain Gorio's turn. And then Trilo, doing anything special?
I really got nothing. I'll move back behind Sarah.
Cool. You're gonna stay with Sarah.
Yeah.
Weatherin.
I'm continuing my path.
Okay. Cool. Malmer, you are on this boat. The Kraken is heading away, but one of the tentacles has grabbed this drow and is pulling it towards itself.
Okay. Mal, who's driving the boat now? Was the guy that just got snatched the guy who was driving?
Yeah, that was so Gorio would have been driving. He would have been like in Sarah's position,
Okay.
and this mage is the harpooner, which is whatever. But
okay. Mal,
so you are the same rank as all the others, but because you're like popular, they probably do what you say. They're just sailors like you are.
Yeah. Mal hops behind the steering rudder. Mal grabs the steering mechanism and points over at Sarah and Watherin and says, "Keep firing at Enma, but flank around. But we're flanking around. Pedal, you fools!" And he starts pointing the boat over towards Watherin and Sarah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you have gotten an order to retreat from Barkis and also from them. They fire at Enma. Wow.
But not like there are people who are dedicated to rowing that are rowing, right? They're not firing instead of rowing.
Oh, are you telling them to row or to fire?
Okay.
They can do one or the other.
Let me back up. I am aware of how all this stuff works. They can do one or the other, right?
Yeah.
Okay. He says, like "We'll give chase to Enma in just a moment, but first we need to flank around and pick up Sarah and Watherin. We'll have far better odds."
Hey, what about Trilo?
"And any other meaningless stragglers that we might run into along the way." No.
And one of them looks up at you and says, "But Barkis said to retreat."
"And retreat we shall, but we must pick up the third mate."
Good. They nod at you and they go towards the third mate is Kyoko. You're gonna go to rescue her?
No, I meant Sarah.
Oh,
Sarah's the second mate, right?
Yep.
Yeah, second mate, yeah.
Cool.
So I aim over towards Sarah and Watherin.
14th mate.
Yeah, they start pedaling.
All right. Mal starts steering.
Yeah. You've got a commanding presence and a reputation. You don't have to roll persuasion to tell them what to do after their harpooner has just been away by a tentacle.
That's good, because if my persuasion check fails, I have this thing called an Eldritch Blast Persuasion with a 10-foot displacement.
The one that gave you the potion, as she's rowing, says to you, "Our harpooner, he's a crafty one. He knows many deep secrets. I wouldn't write him off entirely."
Okay, Mal turns and looks over in his direction, looks back at her and nods. And as he's steering, he's keeping an eye on Sarah and on the harpooner area. Purely as a matter of show. He doesn't care at all.
All right.
And let me know when it's a good time to pause, because I need to take care of things.
This is the top of the order, actually. Let's pause right here.
Perfect. Thank you.
We're going to take our 10-minute break. We'll be back with you at 9:17.
Sounds good.
Welcome back to what will possibly be the conclusion of this very exciting epic battle with a huge and terrible kraken monster called Enma. If you look at your stream, you will see a awesome map made for us by Sir Robert. Thank you, Sir Robert. That is where things stand as they are right now. From this point, most of the attackers have sort of stopped actively attacking, so we don't really need initiative turn order anymore. But a couple of things do happen in the combat related area. So the Drow mage has held his action as he got grappled by the tentacle and dragged into the maw. And Enma is going to the mouth of the squid as it starts to move west is going to take a bite at the wizard. And as the maw opens to take a bite, the wizard raises his hand again and utters those terrible, dark, elvish, Karenic runes, and a lightning bolt begins to form in his fists. Oh, wait.
Spicy.
That roll was for Enma to dodge. Enma rolled a 3 for his dex save against this spell, and so gets hit. You know what? This is a hard move. I'm going to make this wizard roll another thing just to. Okay, it's fine. The wizard, this drow is almost limp. You see, in the grip of the tentacle as it drags it towards the maw. But as the maw opens, the arm comes up, the glow starts, the syllables begin to pour out from the mouth, and a blast of lightning shoots out of the hand of the drow into the mouth of the monster. And we are just going to see what happens with this. The lightning bolt is
a thunderous, piercing crack, and a flash of light ripples out over the canopy of the cloudy sea.
Oh yeah. The rest of you are too far away to see the details of this, but Malmer, you see everything that's going on. The rest of you just hear the thunderclap and see the flash of the lightning. That is good. Oh man. It does. So it's 8 d6s of lightning damage, and if Enma gets 25 damage to his inside gullet in one attack, he'll spit up what's inside of him, which is what this wizard is counting on, doing some damage internally to Enma to get it to vomit up Captain Goryo. But that does not occur because it just didn't roll enough damage. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 damage.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call a watershed moment.
And the Kraken... hold on. There we go. The Kraken, takes it, roars, the mouth closes for a second, and then the beak just opens again, and the wizard is just put right into the gullet, and the beak closes. And then just after that, some kind of crazy gland or sac on this monster, which has been filling up this entire time since it last used this attack, is finally full, and it discharges a blast of inky black smoke out from it. Malmer, you are close enough to have to make this save. So what you see is just a wall.
No.
A cloud of black poison gas just whoosh comes out in just an instant in a sphere from the Kraken.
We've been traveling away from this thing to the southeast.
Yeah, it's
all right, if you say so.
You're just barely within it.
All right. Oh, ladies and gentlemen.
It's a con saving throw.
That's a nat 20. What a good time. When the hit points are low and it's for all the marbles, what a time to roll a 20.
I think you like thinking quickly, you know, put some shirt over your mouth or whatever to.
Yeah, I ain't doing that again. I've already almost died once because of that.
The sailors near you, 3 of them stop rowing and start just coughing. Just cough, 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 cough. And they're suffering under this with the gas, and they can't see anyway, so you can't see where to go, and they just stop rowing and they cough for a while. Yeah, the Kraken continues west. Does anybody have anything in particular that they're interested in doing? Kyoko is calling for help. Yeah. It's dreadful.
I have her as kind of south of the Kraken and southwest of the hole.
Yes. And they too, none of you can see this because of the cloud, but you hear her calling and coughing, and a lot of the sailors are coughing their lungs up. But you, Weatherin, and Trilo are with Sarah past the edge of that fearsome cloud. Barkus is right on the edge of it. They don't catch very much of it.
Okay. I tell Sarah that I'm happy to go try to find Kyoko. Or, you know, and she can look for the ship or whatever. I'm very willing to go and look for her in the mist.
Sarah says, we need to find Barkus first. Barkus is in charge if he's still alive. I think we should find him. And so you turn to the north and she turns to the north and starts making her way towards Barkus.
Okay. I've got the map up and I updated it.
When you get there, by the time you get there, the smoke has dispersed, and you can see the Kraken moving away to the west.
By the time we get where?
To Barkus?
Okay. So he has gone which direction and we found him?
Yeah, he hasn't moved very far.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah. Barkus says, all right, first of all, we've got to stabilize Kyoko's situation. They're hanging by a thread over there. Who can help them?
I'm willing.
Okay.
I'm sorry, did you just say that Barkus and Watherin are together now?
Yes, time has been going by. You should say...
Where are Malmer and the Drow?
Something.
I thought Barkus was all the way up on the north side, and Kyoko was the one that was somewhat close to them. Like Kyoko they should have passed us before they got to Barkus.
It's a triangle.
Where are Malmer and the Drow now?
Mal
relative to the
Mal
big
said
hole.
that he was headed straight for Sarah and Watherin.
Okay.
They've got a boat.
The first thing, so just after Sarah says, we need to go and get Barkus, Malmer arrives.
Right, and pick him up.
Yeah. So you pick them up. Are you going to go where she wants?
Mal's not gonna like tell her what to do. He's like,
Hey, pick me up too.
there, and Barkus is farther away to the north.
Pick me
Sarah
up too.
First.
This boat can't hold all of you. So
But you've got levy, right? So some of us need to be towed by rope.
Sure. Yeah. And you rig up a thing where some of you are in the levee field with ropes tied to you,
Right.
bumping along above the surface.
There's a huge bundle of sailors with a chunk of levee in the middle of them with a 5-foot radius.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are like 4 of you just floating there. I think Trilo is floating there. I think Weathering has dignity and is helping to row. Also, he's not injured, but some of the drow took some damage and they're floating rather than rowing.
Right.
And you pick up a couple other sailors on the way to Barkus who got scattered, and you help them, get them steady. When you get to Barkus draws your attention to Kyoko, and Barkus says, "I don't know where Gratu is, but I can see Kyoko from here, and they need help. Can you go over there next?"
Mal points the rudder in that direction.
Yep. Sarah points the rudder in that direction, and Mal helps row.
I'm still steering. We never said anything about Mal not steering anymore.
Fair enough. Mal is steering. No,
Nice.
You know what? This is a time for a roll. Go ahead and make either a persuasion check, I would think, to like continue rowing when Sarah gets on the boat.
Okay. Mal says something to the effect of, "I have the feel of this craft with her weight."
Shucks.
Shucks on a corn husk. That's a 2 plus 5 is a 7. So let's hope she rolled a 1 and has a low modifier.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's see. She rolled a 9.
Now Mal tries to
She's
whatever.
like,
and he just walks
I'm in
away
charge
and
here,
relinquishes
big boy.
control.
"You can row or you can sit in the corner with the others."
Mal jumps on the seat and begins pedaling.
Okay. So you should make me some rolls to help Kyoko. This is just a straight survival check.
Oh, actually, yeah. I think I can do better with an athletics check because he can pull out his glaive and begin like gondoliering and stuff like that.
Sure.
Anyway, whatever. Yeah, athletics.
But also, if you have any ideas for spells or techniques or things that you could use to help them.
I mean, Mal's Eldritch Blast can like blast down, like if there's a piece of the canopy that's proud and looks like it's gonna be something they're gonna run into, he can, blast pieces out of the way.
You can blast things out of the way.
Right.
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy check, but roll investigation to see if there's a use for that.
Okay. No, that's a 3 plus.
As far as you can tell,
5 is an 8.
In this situation, blasting the trees, which are already fragile from the thrashing of the Kraken, is not generally going to be helpful to anybody.
Right. Okay. So he'll just make a straight athletics check. I got a 13 for that.
Weathering.
Yeah.
You're going to help Kyoko lower some ropes?
Yeah. Are we at Kyoko now?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'll.
Kalurk is already there,
use a rope.
helping pulling people up.
Great. I'm just gonna pitch in.
Cool. Kyoko is very appreciative. Eventually, all of the scene is going to stabilize. You will have found all the sailors you're going to find. You did lose 3 sailors to the infinite abyss, and nobody can find Gratu, the orc who was Barkis's harpooner.
Got it.
After maybe 10 minutes after things are sort of fairly resolved, I need to make some checks for this.
And I guess Enma's out of sight.
Yeah, Enma, and I mean, you would have had to say if you were going to give chase a little while ago.
Yeah, sure. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, Enma has been out of sight for minutes.
Okay. I'm just updating the map.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the next thing that happens is that out of the mist to the east, you see the Fujin. And it does not look super great. The Fujin is a little bit too far to the side. Like it's the trees around here are not quite dense enough to keep her entirely upright, and she is plowing through them a little bit low, a little bit too low.
She's drafting low.
She's drafting low, as it were. But she's coming towards you fairly slowly. And Weatherin, you can see that there is a kind of mystic Oberonian glow about it.
You see the cloud worm.
Yeah, there's a kind of almost your sailor's eye is sort of like, it shouldn't really be able to stay up here, but it is, but barely. So it comes around, and you are able to get everybody back on board. Barkis takes charge and orders that the Fujin immediately withdraw, and says, tomorrow we'll send out rescue parties looking for the captain's harpooner, and any other sailors we may not have been able to find today. It's not unheard of that someone can survive the night in the cloudy sea. In fact, we should send out some ships by night. We should send out the boat tonight just to search. It'll be a little easier then. But for now, we need to get back on the firm sea where we won't sink at any moment. And so the Fujin just makes its way back off the ragged edge.
Mal immediately begins resting so that he can go out as one of the searchers.
Make me everybody make perception checks.
I hope I don't need that 18 later, because I've blown it now.
I got a natural 20 plus 2.
22.
I got a natural 20 plus 0 plus 3. 23.
20, 22, 22.
When you get
23.
back, which one of you got
23,
the highest?
22, 22.
23. Trilo got the highest.
Who got the highest?
Trilo.
Weathering.
Oh, you got more than 22, sir?
I got 23.
Oh, never mind. Trilo. I thought he got plus 0.
Plus 3.
Okay. Trilo, when you get back on board, Barkis orders you to
Scrub the crow's nest.
the levy lump that you have is too big to put in the normal storage place in the captain's cabin. It would render the entire the captain normally has a little spot for his bed where there's not levitation, and it would ruin that. So levy lumps that are this big are usually flown off the top. They're left to sort of dangle on a rope at the end of the top of the mast. So you're sent up there to stow this giant levy treasure. He says, we may need to go back and see what happened there. You say I'm hearing all kinds of tales about where this incredible levy lump came from. So but for now, stow it. We have a lot to do, people to rescue tonight. So just put it up there. So you go up to the very top of the mast, and from up there, you see something that well, maybe you'll roll to see. Your character will decide what you do with this information. But from way up there, you can see that there is a commotion coming from the temple, which is close enough that you can sort of barely make it out in the distance. And even though it's down in a sort of depression, you can see what's happening, near the top of the valley that it's in. And what you see is a giant on a large cloud stone, and the giant is hurling rocks down at the temple or at something on the temple. And you actually see a few little flickers, little lines of necrotic energy going up from the temple, shooting at this giant. And as you watch, the temple shudders a little bit, and the trees near the temple move in a distinctive way that your sailor's eye knows is the wake of the Kraken.
Okay, I tell everybody about that. Hey, that's happening. There's a giant and a Kraken. They fighting with those guys with the listing temple.
Mal shouts to Barkus, if there's a giant involved, there's very real possibility of a tactical advantage here. At the very least, we should be nearby to flank and strike in when the moment is right.
Barkus says, I shall have to consider very carefully whether to attempt Enma again.
Did I mention as a player character I want to make a persuasion roll?
You want to persuade Barkus to go back in there? To go back to the temple and try and fight Enma?
Yeah. I mean, Mal has to make this suggestion.
Mal has to try. Yeah, you should try.
Because this is his temple and it's Enma. Like, he's in the fight. That's a 16.
No. Barkus doesn't actually laugh at you. Because I don't know what to say to you, sailor, except that I think you might be insane. It was never a good idea to hunt a Kraken of that size. And the captain, Oberon, rest his soul, seems to have
Probably
gotten
not.
what
says Watherin. No, probably not. That's my official position as a paladin of Oberon.
he seems to have gotten what he begged the gods.
Oh, and I have a divinity of Oberon degree. I've studied these things, so this is.
And I am not interested in sharing that fate or dragging any other souls down into that fate with me. I'm going to try to preserve as much of this doomed voyage as I can. Maybe we can scrape some profit out of it for our employers. But listen.
Mal turns and makes eye contact with one of the dark elves.
Oh.
And Mal turns and makes eye contact with one of the dark elves and makes like a quizzical, shall we? gesture to him. To the one that I perceive to be in charge.
The Dark Elves have sort of gathered around the woman who gave you the health potion.
Right.
And so she's maybe not actually in charge, not nominally in charge, but she seems to be socially in charge.
Okay.
So the one that you aim this look at.
Yeah.
Marcus wants to promote you to his harpooner. He says, I seem to have lost Gratu, so I have an open harpooner spot if you want it. I think that it probably will mean command of the vessel that goes out tonight to search for the captain and for Gratu. Although you are severely wounded, so I'm loath to send you.
Oh, I can help with that. I touch him and cure him for 1d8 -2.
He looks very slightly better.
I got a 4. Well,
okay.
I rolled a 6. You get 4 hit points.
So what I want you to do is go ahead and take a short rest.
All of us?
All of you, as the Fujin sails back away from the Ragged Edge, away from the temple, and back to firm ground. Unless, Malmer, if you want to make some sort of mutinous attempt to get these Dark Elves to steal the boat and sail to the temple with you now.
Yeah, so as soon as he gets that back, Mal looks at the female Dark Elf and gives her just the subtlest, slightest, shall we? And his eyes dart over in the direction of Gorio.
Where's Gorio's Barkus?
In the belly of...
Oh.
In the belly of Enma.
Towards the east?
In the direction of the temple and the battle that we are currently heading away from.
And you are trying to say to her, let's steal a boat and go.
Yeah. Let's take command of this vessel.
I think she catches your eye.
Yeah.
And, I mean, make me a charisma check to communicate this.
Sure. That's a good time to roll.
Sorry.
13.
Josh, you want to steal a boat or you want to take the ship?
Mal is currently, that's an 18, by the way, Matt. Mal is currently making the gesture at her, shall we, take this party back that way, and everything that she thinks that entails. I'm doing this non-verbally.
Right.
So the only thing I'm trying to convey to her is, yeah, Barkus just said, oh no, we got to head back. And Mal's like, not head back, head towards Goria. And whatever she thinks that means.
She looks at you and her eyes widen. And she makes a wisdom check. No, she's too smart to go for this.
Okay.
Her eyes widen as she realizes that you are suggesting you're suggesting
disinclination to acquiesce.
And she okay. Her head a little bit like, no.
And Mal kind of gives her a disappointing, and turns to Barkus and says, it would be my honor to search for our fallen comrades tonight.
Okay. So to
accept this position.
As the Fujin heads back towards the solidity of the main body of the Cloudy Sea, go ahead and take a short rest.
Okay.
And next episode, next week, because we still will not have chronologically caught up to what is going on in the East, we will see what happens on this boat trip out to search for Goryo.
Okay.
Remember, failure is beautiful.
Thank you very much for watching.
Failure is beautiful.
We're going to do
I prefer overwhelming, crushing victory.
That's where we're going to stop for tonight. Let's do experience. All of you get 1 XP for that, and 2, and yeah, just go ahead and take 3 XP and a fate point, all of you. Just go for it. You get everything.
We did survive Enma.
I don't have a fate.
Do I get a secret experience point for inducing mutiny?
Hey, you don't know what the secret is.
And for my, well, go ahead.
Yeah.
Nice.
What about me for seeing the giant?
I was just using you to insert some narrative exposition.
And I'm not really invested in 1 experience points, but I would be happy for 1 for persuading Sarah to start retreating.
Oh.
I don't care.
I mean, we're already retreating, aren't we?
Yeah, we are now. The episode opened with her trying to figure out whether to retreat.
And Tyler needs to add a 4th class to his.
Yeah. So Robert, take a secret experience point.
Cool. Thanks.
Also for shooting at one of the dark elves.
Aha.
By the way. All right. That is all for tonight.
Now, wait a minute. Can you get more than 1 secret experience point? Okay.
Thank you very much for joining us. Tune in this same time next week for another exciting episode. And remember, failure is beautiful.
Bye.